And when you said that because you were making the money, because the man is supposed to be the provider, what you essentially said is that you were the provider. So I mean, it's almost like, what do I need a man for, right?
Yeah.
What changed then?
Well, I always knew that a woman's role and a man's role and what we should do, in a relationship. So, like you said, I had to submit.
Yeah,
If I wanted to be happy for me and provide for my children,
yeah,
that's why I did it.
yeah.
Because I know at one time when I was, I celebrated Mother's Day and Father's Day.
You did.
I mean, faithfully.
Yeah.
I act like that was my role.
Welcome to Big Guy Journey, where I stand on faith, fitness, family, finance, and freedom. When I say freedom, I'm talking freedom of the mind, because the journey starts in your thoughts. Let's go. So I know we talked about how you used to sell drugs and stuff like that. But another thing that you did that we did, because I ended up being a part of this as well, is you operated a small little casino out of the crib. And so every crib we went to, we used to have gambling parties. And so, I mean, we were making money hand over fist through these gambling parties as we got older. So although I saw this at a young age, but when we got older, um, said I started to be a intricate part in it as well. And I think that, I mean, because you were making the money, like you said, you were working and you were also hustling. I mean, hustling by all means, you know what I mean, because we had different ways of hustling. But we never had a father. It was always a single mother. And so I guess one of the things I wanted to ask you is, like, what's your view? What was your view on single motherhood? Like, what was your mindset then on, like, being a single mother? Was it something that you didn't want to be? Was it something that you were okay with? And then versus now, like, what's your views now on single motherhood? Like, do you have any regrets? Which do you wish you would have? Like talk about that a
Okay.
little bit.
Um, I didn't wish for a husband at the time when y'all was growing up because I felt like I was the breadwinner and that was the man's responsibility.
Yeah,
I was working and able to provide for the family. I mean, I always had an income, so and I was able to do what I want, go where I want, you know.
yeah,
And so then I said no. But as I look back over it now, I wish I had the husband, um, the father figure for my children. Um, Now that I know God's principles and how we're supposed to live, versus then. But yes, now I see that it takes two to raise a family, and it's even a lighter load, and we could build, together and provide for my children and our children and children's grandkids. Um, yeah, I think looking back, I wish I had a did it.
uh, and so when you said that because you were making the money, because the man is supposed to be the provider, what you essentially said is that you were the provider. So I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like, what do I need a man for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really common. And I think, what I'm saying, I think a lot of women probably don't really realize what they're actually doing when they say that. You know what I mean? I know, for instance, my sister, she like always longed for a father. I,
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, really didn't really long for a father that much. You know what I mean? I always figured, like, if I never had it, it really never mattered. But as I got older, I started to see some of my weakness and see some of the places that I fell short at. That wouldn't have probably pretty much probably wouldn't have been the case if I had a man in my life, because I do believe that a man is supposed to set the example for a man. And so, but one of the things that I will say is this, because I always saw you as like super mom. Like, if somebody mess with me, I'm gonna tell my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of the things that young boys who actually was raised with their father, they actually put that on their father. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
since I didn't know my father, I always felt like I'm gonna get my mom, and I thought my mama was tough. You know what I'm saying? Because you were in the streets and people respected you. You did have a certain presence and a certain amount of respect in the street, and so I always thought you as being this hard, tough person. And so feminine, like a feminine side, you know, I always knew that you were a mother inside, but the feminine side, I really didn't even calculate it that much. And then one day when I got older, when I got grown, and you ended up getting when you got a man, and I saw you turn into this submissive person, like this very submissive woman, like somebody that I had never saw. Like I was looking at you like you was a different person, so much so that I was actually upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what's going on with my mama? You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't know. I didn't understand, right? Because I wasn't raised in that way. But I saw that submissiveness. And now, like, that's something that I respect and that's something that I desire. You know what I'm saying? In a woman, like, a woman can't be that strong, independent, I don't need no man type woman. Like, that's not what I look for now. And so, like, like, what was that? Like, what changed then? Is what do you feel like you had grew at the time, or like what was different?
Well, I always knew that a woman's role and a man's role and what we should do, you know, in a relationship. So, like you said, I had to submit.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to be happy for me and provide for my children.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I did it.
Yeah.
Because I know at one time when I was, I celebrated Mother's Day and Father's Day.
You did.
I mean, faithfully.
Yeah.
I act like that was my role.
Yeah.
But, you know, I listened to a sermon one time with Pastor Steve Darby.
Yeah.
And he said, no.
Yeah.
You know.
You out of order. Yeah.
So I had to submit.
And the good thing about it is this, like I said, you know, we could talk about these things open. I mean, we got so much stuff that we could actually talk about when it comes to our family. But one of the things that happened when my mother had that paradigm shift when she came into her relationship with Yah, is she actually came and she apologized to us. She repented to her children for all of the things that she did, even the things that we wasn't aware of, you know what I mean? Because she became aware. I myself, you know what I'm saying, I found the Lord first, and then I actually led my family to the Lord, to Yah. And so when she came to the knowledge and she started to see things from a different point of view, she ended up saying, you know what, she's sorry and she repented. And I think that that's one of the most important things that we have to do. Like, no matter what you went through with your family, no matter what you went through with your mother and your father, we have to get to a place of forgiveness. How important do you think forgiveness is?
Very important, because if you don't, you just hang on to it and it just weigh you down. I mean, I went to the Lord first, and then I went to my kids because He told me to.
Yeah.
You know, I have to, for them to see and believe in my change, I have to admit my faults and what I did. You know, that made all of us stronger, and we, you know, build off that.
Yeah. Sweet. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think one thing that, you know, so not only ask for forgiveness to the Lord or to other people, but you have to forgive yourself.
Amen.
Because a lot of times, you know what I mean, we stay stuck in these ruts where we are pondering and never forgiving ourselves for the things that we've done. And if you do that, think about what you're doing is you're actually stuck in that place. You stay stuck in that place.
Right.
In order for you to move on, you have to forgive yourself, no matter how bad it is, no matter what you've done. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I believe in vulnerability, because a lot of times we don't want to say things. We don't want to ask for forgiveness. We don't want to expose things because we are ashamed of them or we are embarrassed by it. But in order for you to move past those things, you have to first identify it. You have to expose. I call it exposing the enemy. You have to let it be known, and then you have to move from it, because repentance is simply turning from it. You know what I mean? You just ask for forgiveness for the other person, but what you're doing is you're just turning from it, turning from your old ways. And so, that's real good. And I think that, you know what I mean, that's why our family has been able to grow. because no one is trying to hide anything. The areas where we feel like the other one is responsible for something, like, you know what I mean, we'll talk about that, and we're able to move past that because the other one is not holding on to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else to say about that?
I just think, like he said, communication and growth as we grow together. You know, we're always together. We're a tight knit family. So, you know, I thank God for my walk,
Yeah.
my journey, my growth. You know.
Yeah. Amen.